Hey guys, it's Crypto Crazy here. Good to catch up. It's been a little while since I've provided a development update. Couple of things that I wanted to make clear from the outset is that this is more of an announcement video, and you're going to hear more of these type of videos in the coming weeks. So less about development, more about how things are progressing and typical announcements that we'll be making as we get closer to launching Liquid Loans. We are very close now. And guys, I think the most important thing and part of this process is that, we did want to talk about the audit. So you're probably aware we've been working very closely with the team over at Halborn now for a number of months. And it's crucial for us that we have a good working relationship with these guys. And obviously, if there are issues with the code, that we're able to remedy that. And it's important for you guys to be aware of some of those things as well, right? So one of the things I can share with you is that we have concluded the Liquid Loans audit. So Halborn's a fantastic security team. They're actually also working on our Fetch Oracle as well. So the guys will be coming back to us with some feedback on Fetch in due course. But fundamentally, where we're at the moment is that we now have a final report for Liquid Loans, and wanted to share some of that with you and just give you some insights into how that process works and how the guys at Halborn actually go about their business, and more importantly, how to interpret some of the report itself. So a couple of things that we probably should start is just to understand, this is a 51-page report. It's very comprehensive and it goes into a lot of detail, but there's a number of key pages that you might want to refer to. And I think one of the crucial pages, if I've got this right, is the actual one that talks about the different severities of things that come up. And so as an auditor, they're going through the code and making sort of assessments around the severity of issues that come up. And there is a page, I think it's page 14 of the report, that provides a bit of a summary in terms of how Halborn actually go about assessing risk and determining the rating or the ranking of certain risks. Couple of things to note for us is that obviously there's some extreme risk and the scale goes down to, I think, informational. Now, for us, the positive note is that we do have, I think there were 3 very low sort of items that came up, which, to be honest, we're aware of some of these. So we kind of knew that they would be coming up as part of the audit. None of which is an issue for us, and we can quickly run through some of those. And 2 of the other ones that came up were more informational. So what does that mean? It's probably more tidy up type stuff. So, if there's some things that we need to make small adjustments to, it's probably worth considering. So just in terms of the specifics around the items that have come up, I believe it's page 16 actually goes through and starts to unpack some of the items that have been listed as low sort of security risk for us. And as I said, these were things that we already knew about, one of which related to the potential for the Fetch Oracle to be manipulated. Now, here's an interesting fact, right? So whilst this is Liquid Loans, that we obviously have some dependencies in terms of how we integrate with Fetch. So whilst the code may have been reviewed for Liquid Loans, it's obvious that the guys at Halborn are aware that we're also developing Fetch, and there's the need for the integration between the two. So a couple of things that have come up there. One was around the potential for manipulating the price feed from the Oracle. And fundamentally, because of the nature of the Oracle service, because it is decentralized, there's always an opportunity for someone to submit a bad price, right? And so we kind of know that these sort of things happen. And you need to be prepared for that. Now, one of the things that the way that Liquid Loans works is that it basically ingests the price after 15 minutes. So if somebody decides to post a nefarious price into the Oracle, there's effectively a 15-minute window where there's an opportunity for someone to dispute that price. So that mechanism on its own is enough to deal with any sort of nefarious price feeds that may come through. So it's really crucial that you allow the Oracle to do what it needs to do, and you also allow the community to actually self-monitor and self-gauge some of these things. So it's crucial that that happens, and it's part of the Oracle service that, hey, we are self-policing, and rather than try and make any changes to the code around that, we basically said, look, there is a dispute mechanism in place within Fetch. So if somebody's going to submit a bad price, the community over at Fetch will actually capture that, and typically that price gets rejected. So there really wasn't a need for us to make any changes to Liquid Loans itself, but obviously that was a low priority or a low risk item that the auditor had flagged, and I think the remediation is fairly straightforward. I guess that the other two things, again, primarily around, or the second one was also around the Oracle, and that's about the potential for stale prices to be submitted in the very unlikely event that not only the primary oracle, but the secondary oracle tended to fail. So we have a secondary oracle that we're running, and the intent of that oracle is to make sure that, hey, look, if something happens with the primary oracle, there's always a secondary oracle there to take up the slack, so to speak. So in that particular instance, in the unlikely event that both oracles fail, the advice that was provided was, look, instead of returning a stale price, you basically shut the protocol down. And I think from our point of view, there would be too many other things that would occur that would actually break the protocol. So it just really wasn't worth making a change. And I think the intent for us was to make sure that, look, we've got the primary and the secondary oracle. They will do their job, rather than actually being too concerned about shutting down the protocol. We'll just return the stale price that's referred to there. But effectively, once the oracles kick off again, they'll end up cleaning that up. So it's not a major issue, and it's certainly not an issue from our point of view, but it was just something that was highlighted. The other thing that came up had more to do with at the time of deployment, that if we screwed up, right? So, and I can tell you, we've been through many practice deployments, and yeah, sometimes things go wrong, but it's quite important for us that we practice, and we have generally a weekly process where we're going through practice deployments, and there are quite detailed checklists that we go through to make sure that, hey, everything's right, not just with the code and not what we're about to deploy, but also the infrastructure that we're using around the deployment itself. So there's a number of safeguards that we use there. But I think one of the things that came up is that we're obviously going to be running multi-sig contracts that actually ensure, and there's a process that ensures that none of the contracts can actually deploy to a contract that isn't part of the initial deployment set or the initial sacrifice set of contracts, right? So, and the multi-sig is the way that we would control that. The other things were more tidy up things, like the two informational things that came up. One that we did adjust to was just a minor tidy up that we had to make to the code. Wasn't any sort of major risk with that one. And again, the renouncing of the multi-sig contract at the end, again, it's just a tidy up thing. We didn't feel that we needed to worry about that at all. And as a consequence, we just thought, you know what, we should be okay with that. I should point out that the deployment screw up where the addresses could be changed, or if for some reason we screwed up in the deployment, we couldn't change it. The reality is that that's exactly what we're about, right? So once we've deployed, we've got no opportunity of making those sort of changes. So that was the other reason that we just felt, look, it's probably not worth making the change or the recommended change, and we've just accepted that low risk. So guys, I've gone into a fair amount of detail. There will be a link to the full report. So if you guys want to go through it, what I would urge you though, if you have questions on the report, go to our Telegram group, right? So the admins over in the Telegram group, they'll be able to respond to any sort of queries that you may have around the report. As I said, it is a very comprehensive report. I think it's 51 pages. Makes for great bedtime reading. But the reality is, any questions that you have, please turn to that, I think, and certainly turn to our admin group. They'll be able to assist you with any questions you may have on the report itself. And as I said, the link will be in the information below that you can access. A couple of other things. Guys, if you're not using PulseChain Safe, you need your heads read. Go and have a look at PulseChain Safe. That's the multi-sig, right? You want to play with the multi-sig? Go and play with that. I actually saw a video just today. KG, I loved it. It was just a very short tweet that he put out where he kind of really explained the concept of multi-sig. And I love what he did there. And I actually think that's a really good explanation.
What's up, everybody? KG here, in the hotel room with the family. and I just noticed a real-life version of multi-sig. So here's how it looks. Right here on this door, there's an adjoining room on the other side. But watch what happens when I unlock my door. There's another door leading to the other room, but no way to unlock it. So, if either party wants access to the other party's room, both parties have to unlock their door or sign for the transaction. That, my friends, is multi-signature.
Go and have a look at PulseChain Safe. It's up and running, so you guys can play with it, do whatever you want, whatever you'd like. It's a very, very good system. It is based on obviously the Gnosis Safe, and I can't tell you how hard it was to bring that over, but we managed to do that, and it's now running natively on PulseChain. So go and have a look at that. The other thing I should point out is that Fetch is an ongoing process for us. So the guys are still going through the audit. There's a couple of other things that we really want to make Fetch absolutely rock solid. So when we launch, and particularly on Testnet, so we've had it running on Testnet. We had some, let's just say, some nefarious things occur, so that we've decided, you know what, it's not worth us taking a risk with this at the moment. So let's lock it down. So there will be a reporter network, but that's going to be tightly controlled. And the benefit of that is that it just means that we can control the testnet environment a little bit more. Not ideal for the short term, but it's only a short-term thing that we need to get through. And we'll talk more about Fetch in the future when we do announce Fetch in all its glory. But the reality is that it is available, and it's something that we'll be using. And it's quite crucial infrastructure, not just for PulseChain, but obviously for Liquid Loans. So that will come in due course. Guys, there's a lot of content. Wallace is sort of doing a fantastic job getting information out there. I urge you, if you're not part of the Telegram group, go and join the Telegram group. The guys there can answer questions quickly. So certainly have a look at that. We are redeploying on Testnet. So by the time this video comes out, you guys will have access to Testnet and you'll be able to go and practice and play. We would urge you to become familiar with the system, go about using Liquid Loans, look at creating vaults, obtain your tokens, use the stability pool, use the staking pool, do all of those sort of things, because I think they're the types of things that when we launch, I really do feel that you need to be quick off the mark. Again, guys, thank you very much for your attention. There will be more of these type of announcement videos now, so less about the development stuff, more about announcing things. And so I'd suggest you have a look at the audit. Go and have a chat with the guys over in the Telegram group. Go and play with PulseChain Safe. Go and use the multi-sig. Go and watch KG's little 15-minute or 15-second burst on the use of multi-sig. Really, really timely. And the other thing is obviously just be watchful of what's happening, not just with Liquid Loans, but also with Fetch. But we're very close, guys. So thanks for your time. Catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.